In 1969, a U.S. Army colonel walked into a meeting at the Pentagon and placed one number on the table: 333. That was the number of times American soldiers tried to murder their own officers in a single year. Not with bullets, with grenades. Tossed into their tents while they slept, the Army had a cute name for it: fragging. Welcome to Vietnam. This is your life as every U.S. Army rank in the war that America tried to forget. Rank 1, Private. You're 20 years old. 6 months ago, you were working at a gas station in Ohio. Your biggest problem was whether Karen from Applebee's would text you back. Spoiler, she won't, because Uncle Sam texted first. Greetings, you are hereby ordered for induction into the Armed Forces of the United States. You land at Tan Son Nut Air Base. The heat hits you like opening an oven, except the oven is the size of a country and someone set it to hell, 105 degrees. Humidity so thick you could cut it with a knife. A sergeant meets your group. He looks at you for exactly 1 second and says, "Welcome to the Nam, Cherry. Try not to die in the first week. It's a lot of paperwork, Cherry." That's what they call you. The fresh guy, the one who hasn't seen combat, the one most likely to step on something that goes boom. Here's what nobody told you back home. Your tour is exactly 365 days, 1 year. Every man is counting. Some scratch marks on their helmets. The guy next to you, he's 25 days from going home. You're 25 days from finding out what a punji stick is. 25% of combat deaths in Vietnam happened in the first 3 months, 1 in 4. Rank 2, Specialist. 3 months in, you're alive. Congratulations, you've been promoted to Specialist 4. In any other war, this would mean something. Here, it means you've survived long enough to be given the worst jobs, like walking point. Point man, walk ahead of everyone so that if there's a booby trap, you find it. With your legs, think of it as being a human metal detector. Except you can't beep, you can only scream. You've learned the unwritten rules. Never walk on trails, never bunch up, and the hardest rule of all, never get too close to anyone. Because your average infantry company loses half its men over 12 months, so you care about the guy next to you just enough to keep him alive. But not enough to fall apart when he doesn't come back from patrol. And then there's the pharmacy. Marijuana grows wild here. You can buy a pack of pre-rolled joints for $2. By 1971, 2/3 of enlisted men have tried it. But marijuana is just the appetizer. Heroin arrives in 1970. It's cheaper than beer. And the Army's official policy is basically don't do it during combat. Rank 3, Sergeant. You survived your year. Somehow, you're back for round 2. Maybe you couldn't adjust to civilian life. Maybe your girlfriend moved on. Maybe the only thing you're good at now is surviving this jungle. But now, you have a new job. You're a sergeant. You're the guy responsible for keeping the Cherries alive. The same terrified kid you were 12 months ago. In World War II, Sergeant served with the same unit for the entire war. Years of trust. Brotherhood forged in battle. Very dramatic. In Vietnam, your squad is a revolving door. Every month, someone goes home. You never have a complete, experienced team. It's like trying to win a basketball game when the roster changes every quarter and half the team has never touched a ball. You stop learning last names. Hey, new guy, stay behind me. Don't touch anything. Don't shoot until I shoot. Don't die. I hate paperwork. And at night, when the new private asks, "Sarge, why are we here?" You light a cigarette. You stare into the darkness. And you say, "Kid, if I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be here." The worst part? The letters. When one of your guys doesn't make it, someone has to write home. And that someone is you. Dear Mrs. Johnson, your son was brave. He served with honor. You never write what actually happened. Rank 4, Staff Sergeant. You run a squad of 10 men. And welcome to the most dangerous position in the entire Vietnam War. Not because of the Viet Cong, because you're stuck between officers who want results and soldiers who want to stay alive. You are the human rope in a tug-of-war between ambition and survival. Remember the fragging from the intro? Most of those grenades were thrown at NCOs, at staff sergeants exactly like you. Here's how it works. A fresh lieutenant orders you to take your squad into a known ambush zone. He needs a body count for his report. Your men know it's a trap. They've been here longer than the lieutenant. They've lost friends in that exact spot. If you follow the order, your men might die. If you refuse, court-martial. And if you push too hard, $350. That's the bounty soldiers pooled together for an aggressive NCO. $350 for your life. For context, a private made about $130 a month, so basically 2.5 months salary. Your life valued at 2.5 months of private pay. So what do? You take the patrol out, you walk a few hundred meters into the jungle, you sit, you wait, you fire some rounds into the trees, you radio back, negative contact returning to base. The mission is fake, the body count is fake, but everyone goes home tonight, and that became the Vietnam War. Fake reports, all the way up. Rank 5, Second Lieutenant. You are 23 years old, college degree, 23 weeks of officer candidate school. You've read every manual. You know the theory of counterinsurgency inside and out. You step off the helicopter and immediately hold your map upside down. Nobody corrects you. They just watch. Your men call you Butterbar because of the shiny gold bar on your collar. It's the nice nickname. The other nickname involves a body bag. You're leading 30 men. Most of them have more combat experience than you. Your platoon sergeant, with 2 tours, knows this jungle better than you know your own apartment. And now you outrank him because you read a textbook. If you're smart, you shut your mouth. You listen to your sergeant. You buy him cigarettes. You say, "What do you think, Sergeant?" before every decision. But if you're not smart, if you come in trying to play hero, if you order patrols into obvious ambush zones so you can write aggressive leadership on your evaluation, one soldier put it simply during a 1971 investigation, "We don't need to frag him, we'll just put him on point. Let the jungle solve the problem." And even if you do everything right, you're trapped in a war with no definition of victory. You're told, "Take that hill." You lose 4 men. You take it, and 1 week later, the army abandons the hill. Your men died for a piece of dirt that the generals decided they didn't want anymore. That happened at Hamburger Hill, May 1969. 10 days. 72 Americans killed, 372 wounded. Then they just left. After Hamburger Hill, the underground GI newspaper published a $10,000 bounty on the colonel who ordered the assault. $10,000, raised by American soldiers to kill an American officer. Rank 6, Captain. You command 160 men, and your life has become a spreadsheet. Body count, that's all that matters. Not territory, not winning hearts and minds, not strategy. Just how many enemy did your unit kill this week? Think of it as a KPI review. Except instead of quarterly targets, it's dead people. And instead of losing your bonus, you lose your career. The problem? How do you count enemy dead in a war where the Viet Cong take their bodies? Where firefights happen in total darkness? In rain? In vegetation so thick you can't see 10 feet? You estimate. And here's a fun fact about estimates. A captain who reports 20 kill gets praised. A captain who reports 2 gets a career-ending evaluation. So the numbers grow. Civilians become enemy combatants. Suspects become confirmed kills, and the body count flows upward to the Pentagon, painting a picture of a war being won. Meanwhile, back in your company, your sergeant looks at your report and says, "Sir, we fired 12 rounds today." You're reporting 27 kills. You look at him, he looks at you, and nobody says another word. Okay. This is how Vietnam was won on paper and lost in reality. Every captain inflated numbers. Every colonel inflated the captain's numbers. Every general inflated the colonel's numbers. And the president went on TV and said, "We're making progress." The only people who knew the truth were the guys at the bottom, the ones doing the actual fighting, the ones who could count on one hand how many enemies they'd actually seen that month. Rank 7, Colonel. You command 3,000 men. You've been in the army for 20 years. You've studied Clausewitz, Sun Tzu, and every other dead guy who wrote about war. But Vietnam makes every theory obsolete. There are no front lines. The enemy wears civilian clothes by day and plants bombs by night. You execute orders you know are wrong. A chemical defoliation program called Agent Orange. 20 million gallons sprayed across Vietnam. It strips the jungle bare so the Viet Cong can't hide. Brilliant plan, one small problem. It also poisons your own soldiers. Cancer, birth defects, neurological damage. 2.5 million Americans exposed. But that's classified. For now, the soldiers walking through the sprayed zones, they think it's bug spray, and nobody corrects them. And here's the thing that eats you alive. You know Washington has already decided to pull out. The withdrawal plan is sitting on your desk, marked classified. But tomorrow, you will send men into the jungle, men who will fight, men who will die, for a war that has already been abandoned by the people who started it. But you send them anyway, because that's what colonels do. Rank 8, General. General, you sit in Saigon, air conditioning, leather chair, a drink that's not from a canteen, thousands of miles from the point man stepping through the jungle. You can't hear the booby traps, you can't smell the napalm, but you can read the reports, every single one. And those reports tell you something that you can never say out loud. The war cannot be won. Not the way it's being fought. Not with one-year rotations. Not with a draft army that doesn't believe. Not while North Vietnam has unlimited supply lines through Laos and Cambodia. You know this. The Pentagon Papers, leaked in 1971, proved that senior leaders understood as early as 1967 that the war was unwinnable. But they kept sending men. They kept going on TV saying, "Victory is just around the corner." Why? Because no general wants to be the one who lost. No president wants to be the one who surrendered. So the machine keeps running, and the body count keeps climbing. 58,148 Americans, over 3 million Vietnamese. For a war that the men at the top knew they couldn't win. The private didn't want to be there. The sergeant couldn't explain why. The lieutenant was caught between duty and survival. The captain was cooking numbers. The colonel was executing a failed strategy. The general knew. Every rank was trapped, just in a different cage. When the last helicopter left the roof of the American embassy on April 30th, 1975, the war was over. But for the men who served at every rank, it never really ended. If this video hit you somewhere, drop a comment telling me which rank was the hardest to hear. If you want to see the other side, what it was like as every rank in the Viet Cong, let me know.